Greetings. The Huckabee says that we shouldn't be checking on our former slave masters and our enemies, but we should have a closer examination on our so-called brothers and sisters. But after you watch this video, tell me, is he out his mind, speaking of Tahaka Bay?
Well, I'm glad you're here watching my video on YouTube. Fact is, I don't know how long this will be up, since YouTube has decided to start censoring me and pulling down my videos. But don't worry, you can watch this video on rumble.com/randpaul, where I post all of my content. Love to see you over at rumble.com.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill demanding Dr. Anthony Fauci be fired after a letter from the National Institutes of Health stated EcoHealth Alliance had violated the terms of its grant from NIH by, quote, not immediately reporting an unexpected experimental result in which mice became sicker when infected with a modified coronavirus. The lawmakers say this is proof NIH-funded gain-of-function research in which a virus or other pathogen is modified to become more virulent or infectious to humans. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, one of the lawmakers who says Dr. Fauci should be fired for lying under oath. Senator Paul, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You have said for months now you believe the NIH funded these experiments which caused viruses to gain function during experiments with bat coronaviruses. What first led you to suspect this?
You know, Dr. Fauci has indeed repeatedly lied about this. We looked at the original research as it was published in the scientific journals, and even in the scientific journals, they are not hiding the fact. This has been in their papers. Dr. Shi of the Wuhan lab, the lead bat scientist, writes in her papers that she got the money from NIH, specifically from the part of NIH headed by Dr. Fauci. But she also writes in her papers that they took unknown viruses, combined them with the SARS virus, which was a previous coronavirus that caused an epidemic in 2004. They combined these viruses, create a new virus that's never been seen in nature, and that new virus infected humans. And so the thing are humanized cells. So the thing is yes, they've been doing gain of function, and our point all along is this type of gain of function research may well have been what they used to create COVID. And we don't have absolute proofs that they created COVID, but what we do have is a lot of indications that this virus came directly from a lab and didn't come from animals.
Senator, during a recent interview, Dr. Fauci denied it, said he did not lie to Congress, that he added this, that it was molecularly impossible for the bat coronaviruses being studied in Wuhan to develop SARS-CoV-2. And he said, quote, and yet when people talk about gain of function, they make that implication, he says, which I think is unconscionable to do, to say, well, maybe that research led to SARS-CoV-2. What's your response to that?
He's once again lying. He's misdirecting you down a straw man argument that we aren't making. No.
I heard Bill Gates say the same thing. They want to reduce the population.
I think that it's really a fulfillment of a dream that we had together with my leadership team when we started in 19. The first week we met in January of 19 in California and to set up the goals for the next 5 years. And one of them was by 2023 we will reduce the number of people in the world by 50%. I think today this dream is becoming a reality.
They're applauding that. Your enemies. Now, getting back to Tahaka Bay's reasoning, that his whole format is to show that you don't be conned, especially you young ones. See, you young ones, this generation, last generation, maybe 2 or 3 generations ago, they have been studying you, and they know that your attention span is about 8 seconds, and that you have the intellect of a 5th grader. Now this is what they study, because you're easily psyched on, you're easily manipulated, and you like all this drama, and you like that Tupac and Biggie type scenario where the West Coast is against the East Coast, And it's the same thing that happened to the late great Nipsey Hussle, you know. So watch this. Then we gonna see you on the next video. And tell me how many of you agree with Tariq. Should we be studying each other or the greater enemy?
Unlettered FBI type windbreakers. But before I get to that, I want to go back over this video. Now, I want you to pay attention to the sound in that video where Tariq, they say he's backing me down. In fact, nah, I don't want you touching me. I'm backing up off you. I'm not scuffling with you. I'm not doing nothing. But what I want you to pay attention to is how the video moves with us. Do you notice? Press 7 if you notice how the video moves with us. Did you notice that? Look how it's moving. Somebody is controlling that video. Motion detector videos cannot detect motions all the way across the street. Somebody is controlling it. You see it? Somebody is controlling this video. Now, I want you to pay attention to that buzz in the video because it's going to make a lot of sense in a minute. You feel?
Now later on down the line, we're going to pick this video apart, what he's talking about, and show you where he could have superimposed on the video, and he had time enough, you know, because he was out of sight for a couple of days. So we also going to psychoanalyze this brother, and he may be a snitch or an informant or an agent, but all these brothers is running a con on you. But you volunteer your subscriptions and you follow voluntarily with Tariq Nasheed and Sonetta. But the government, with the pandemic, you didn't volunteer for that on Black Light. May the peace of Allah be with you, and may you walk a righteous path.